Hello, friends. This is Julie Janasi here. Well, I am so excited to present to you our final in the series of With You All the Way, our part 4. This has been such a fun series. Mary Kay announced this series to us and said nothing about it except these are going to be surprise celebrities. And let me tell you, this week was definitely a surprise. I am pleasantly surprised, though, because this speaker is a guy. I wasn't ready for that. And he's not talking beauty tips, he's talking leadership tips, mindset tips, and ways to help you feel empowered in your life. So I am so excited. I love this speaker, and I've heard him speak so many times from the Global Leadership Summit, and I think you'll really enjoy and feel inspired by this too. He's giving you a new title, if you can believe it. So let me introduce you to Craig Groeschel. He's the founding and senior pastor of Life Church, which is an innovative multi-site church in Edmond, Oklahoma. He has a top-ranking podcast called the Craig Groeschel Leadership Podcast, which prompts innovative thinking for leaders at every level within their organization. He's also a New York Best Times seller list author, and he was named the top 100 CEOs in the U.S. And he serves as the champion for the Global Leadership Summit. So please enjoy this clip from Craig Groeschel speaking to the Mary Kay community, our sales force, our corporate staff, and all of our customers and Mary Kay fans. Thank you so much for being part of this. And make sure that you comment and find a piece that you enjoy from this session and drop it in the comments so you'll be entered in the 4-week series drawing that we'll be doing on July 2nd. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy this.
Hey, welcome to the Mary Kay virtual event, With You All the Way. My name is Craig Groeschel. I am the host of the Craig Groeschel Leadership Podcast, and I'm the pastor of Life Church, the church that created the free YouVersion Bible app, which is on almost 500 million devices around the world. I want to show honor and express the deepest respect I have for Mary Kay, the most amazing culture and developers of leaders. It's an honor to share with you some thoughts today that I hope will inspire you. Let me start by stating the obvious. We're in a very complicated time. It's an unprecedented season in our lifetime with no clear answers as how we lead forward because we're all in uncharted territory. What do we know? We know that leadership is always important, but it's more important now than ever. Now, some of you might think, well, I'm not really a leader, and I want to just gently correct you and remind you, what is leadership? Leadership is influence, and everyone has influence. You are unquestionably and undeniably a leader. You can influence your friends, you can influence your family, you can influence your customers, you can influence those that you work with. Now, if there's one thing I know about you, is you have problems right now. We all do. You have problems to be solved, challenges to address, and tensions to manage because our lives have been altered in every way imaginable. You can't travel like you used to be able to travel. You're working out of different environments. You're trying to balance work life with family, with kids. You might have tension with your staff or tension with friends. You might be battling a health issue. You might have some financial challenges. Maybe the kids are driving you crazy because they're everywhere all the time. As we acknowledge that we all have problems, what I want to do is I want to try to help you change how you see your problems and also how you see yourself. Let's start with you. Chances are you have some title. You have a job title. You might be an independent beauty consultant or a sales director. You might have a career as a marketing manager or a customer success representative. You might be a technical consultant. You might be a leader in your church or a volunteer in your nonprofit. You might be a CFO, a CIO, a CEO of your home, which means you're the mom and you are in charge of what happens in your family. What I want you to do is I want you to expand your title. Whatever your title is, when we look at our problems, the first thought is expand your title to CPS. What does CPS stand for? You are the Chief Problem Solver. Expand your title to CPS because as a leader, solving problems isn't something you dread, it's what you do. What do we know about leaders? We know that anyone can point out a problem, but a leader does something about it. You are a CPS. You're the Chief Problem Solvers. Now, I don't know a whole lot of leaders who naturally get excited about problems. In other words, you might be in a meeting and someone tells you about a problem, or your kid might burst into your room and interrupt your Zoom call and tell you there's a problem. And immediately when you hear this, you typically think, oh no, your blood pressure rises, your heart rate increases, you brace yourself and think what's going to happen. What I want to encourage you to do is to adjust your mindset. Whenever you find out there's a problem, remind yourself that problems are opportunities in disguise. Problems are actually opportunities to perhaps see a breakthrough solution. They are opportunities in disguise. When you think about it, what is almost every business? Almost every business is a solution to a problem. When you think about ministries or nonprofits, what are they? They're essentially people who are providing other people with support and with answers. They're meeting needs. What are they doing? They are solving problems. So, as a CPS, we don't dread, deny, or run from problems. What do? We solve problems. In fact, when you think about it, the value you bring is a reflection of the problems you solve. Let me say it again. The value that you bring as a leader is a reflection of the problems that you solve. For example, my very first job when I was a teenager was working for JCPenney's department stores. And JCPenney's had lots of problems, just like every organization. The problem that I solved was the clothes hanger problem. Here's what would happen. There were 7 different types of clothes hangers. And whenever a customer bought a piece of clothing, they would take the clothes hanger and the employee would then throw it into a hanger box, and all of the 7 hangers would become tangled. My job was to solve the hanger problem. I would take them out one by one, I would unsort them, and then I would hang them each on the appropriate of 7 different racks. Unfortunately, this was a relatively easy problem to solve. In other words, a lot of people could solve this problem. You didn't need a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. You didn't even need a driver's license to solve this problem. Therefore, my compensation reflected the simplicity of the problem. The value of my coat hanger problem-solving skills was $2.65 an hour. What do we know? The value you bring is a reflection of the problems you solve. If you want to make a bigger difference, solve bigger problems. What are we going to do? As the CPS, instead of running from problems, dreading problems, ignoring problems in our home, in our family, in our church, in our business, maybe even in our health, we're going to attack them because problems are opportunities in disguise. You are the CPS. You're a leader who solves problems and adds values. What do we do when we see problems? Number 1, we expand our title to CPS. Number 2, I'm going to encourage you, don't be an ostrich. Don't be an ostrich. Don't keep your head in the sand. In fact, it was Zig Ziglar who said, the first step to solving a problem is to recognize that it exists. I love what Jim Collins said in his classic book, Good to Great. He talked about confronting the brutal facts. In fact, Collins wrote about the Stockdale paradox, named after James Stockdale, a prisoner of war in the Vietnam War, who suffered terribly for 8 years and yet he survived. Stockdale wrote about what he called the paradox, and he said this, and this is what you want to do in your leadership, in your home, in your family, in your business, in your nonprofit, is you want to always retain absolute faith that you can and will prevail in the end, and at the same time, confront the most brutal facts of your current reality. What are you going to do? If there are real problems, you acknowledge them. This is not good. But at the same time, you hold on to the faith that you have what it takes to solve the problem and you will prevail in the end. You're not an ostrich. My favorite example of this is my wife and I have been married almost 29 years, and we have 6 children. That's right, 6 children. People say, wow, you must love kids. I do, but I really love my wife. And years ago, as a pastor of a church, I would teach on Saturday night, and then I would preach on Sunday morning. Well, she gave birth to our 4th child between Saturday night church and Sunday morning church, just a couple of hours before church was going to start. And suddenly we had a problem. I couldn't leave her and go preach. Our church was too young and we didn't have any other preachers on staff. So what do? We addressed the problem. There's a problem, but we have absolute faith that we will prevail. So we decided, why don't we run the video message from Saturday night and see what happens? Well, what happened was it was absolutely the same. We had the same spiritual response, and suddenly we had a breakthrough idea. By confronting the brutal facts with a prevailing faith that we would overcome, we had a breakthrough idea, and this problem created an opportunity that was in disguise. Now we have video teaching. Fast forward to today, our church is in almost 35 locations, opening up the 35th soon, in 11 different states with over 200 services. Why? Because there was a problem that was really an opportunity in disguise. I hope you feel encouraged. You might be facing a very difficult problem right now. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe there's a breakthrough coming. Confront the brutal facts and remain confident you will prevail in the end. Now, the third thought is this. What are you going to do? You're going to think like a leader. Think like a leader. Whenever I have a big problem, I try to ask the question that I heard my friend Andy Stanley ask. I've got a challenge. There's something weighing on me. I would encourage you to ask the question, what would a great leader do? If I'm facing this challenge, what would a great leader do? Now, chances are, whenever you face a problem with a child or with a coworker or with a client, you're deep in the weeds and you're often emotionally tangled. What does a great leader do? A great leader looks at the problem with altitude and without emotion. With altitude, you stay above and you try to eliminate the emotion. You're not caught up in it, so therefore you can work on it. A great leader is not going to be emotional about the situation. Now, if you can separate yourself from the emotion, the solution often appears. I had a challenging situation with a staff member that I loved dearly. I asked myself, what would a great leader do? That elevated me above the situation. It eliminated the emotion, and I had clarity into making the difficult decision. Think like a leader. What would a great leader do? You're facing a problem. Expand your title. You're the chief problem solver. You're going to confront the brutal facts. You're going to think like a leader. The fourth suggestion I have for you is this. Go with your sevens. Go with your sevens. You might be facing a problem and there's not really a good solution. You've got a couple of ideas. The best one on a scale of 1 to 10 is maybe a 7. If a 7 is the best you've got, go with your sevens. You might say, but this isn't the perfect solution. No, it's not. If it was an easy problem to solve, you'd be making $2.65 an hour. My personal bias is, in times of unrest like we have right now, act quickly. Now, act quickly, don't act recklessly, act quickly. You're going to think, but what if I make a mistake? And the response is, you will. Most of the time, though, the cost of inaction is greater than the cost of making a mistake. I tell our team all the time, a good plan executed with passion today is better than a perfect plan executed later. You may be hesitant. You're unsure. As leaders, we all are unsure at times. Well, I want to make sure I'm 100% sure before I act. Listen, if you wait until you're 100% sure, you'll almost always be too late. We all have problems. Let's pause for a moment and recognize if you have a problem, sometimes the problem is you. Sometimes you're the problem. You might be too controlling, too critical, too entitled, too passive, too demanding, too distracted. You won't confront. You aren't leading with vision. You're tolerating unacceptable behavior. Sometimes the best way to solve the problem is to stop being the problem. About 12 years into our church, we were having all sorts of problems. I took an anonymous 360 review where my staff reviewed my leadership, and I recognized I was the problem. I'd been distracted. Once I realized I was the problem, then I could solve it. The good news is, if you're the problem, it's an opportunity in disguise. It's an opportunity for you to get better and to grow in your leadership. Tell the truth. Admit it where you might be the problem, because you cannot change what you will not confront. The great news is this: you are a leader. You can grow. You can overcome. I believe with all my heart that you have what you need to face the problems that you have and to prevail in the end. Have faith, have passion, step into the problems and believe that you can lead to a better future. Make the change, have the courage, take some risk, get better, thrive, succeed in your family and in your business, because we know everyone wins when the leader gets better. To all the amazing leaders at Mary Kay, to all the customers who are part of the extended family, we want you to be encouraged, to have faith that you are equipped to lead effectively in this season and to make the world a better place. You have what it takes. Step into it and make a difference where you are, because we're with you all the way, and together we can truly make a difference in this world.
Okay, let me come back to you. There we go. Wasn't that so good? I love hearing from Craig Groeschel. And just a reminder that you are the CPS of your life, your chief problem solver. When he said that, for those of you who live in Illinois, I thought Chicago Public Schools. Oh no, chief problem solver. And so you have the ability to solve the problems and to face them head on, and retain that absolute faith that you can and will prevail through it all. So thank you so much for being part of our With You All the Way series. You'll be seeing more fun things coming your way, especially in July. We'll be doing some fun weekly events for you and for your friends and family, just to help you feel beautiful and have some fun through this whole process. So thanks again for joining us. Make sure you comment your favorite part of the video. I'm not going to share a beauty tip because I want to hear your favorite part from what Craig shared. So thanks so much again for being part of this, and I'll be doing the drawing on July 2nd. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.